You are now listening to the Bag Behavior Podcast, Season 2. Pew pew!
Pew, pew, pew.
I love when we get together and we chat. Fun fact, what U.S. states ban self-service gas stations? Katie knows this. The audience may not. It's actually New Jersey and Oregon. You cannot pull up to the gas station and service yourself. Katie, you grew up like this.
Fun fact, which two states make the most sense in the United States? Michelle, you know this. New Jersey and Oregon. It's like, honestly, y'all need to keep up.
I mean, you're
and we've
not
been doing
wrong.
it for years, honestly. Since my entire life.
Literally.
Until I came to California, I never pumped gas. And it felt like illegal to do.
That's incredible. And I experienced it with you and your mom. And we didn't get out the car. We just pulled up, told them 87, 20 on that thing.
Is that what she said?
She said something like that. And I just thought, wow, this is luxurious.
It's so nice. It's like, why should I be getting out of my vehicle for this? It makes no sense. And then it gives people jobs too.
It does.
Talk about the market.
And apparently they do it so that people don't have accidents. I guess so that they don't blow themselves up. That's crazy, New Jersey. That's what's going down over there?
Girl, I was struggling in California when I first moved.
Because you didn't know how to pump gas.
I didn't know how to pump gas, and I didn't realize that I didn't know how to pump gas until I got to a gas station. So now here we are. You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I still don't know how to get the pump to like auto lock and be hands free. I don't know how to be hands free.
It doesn't auto lock.
Oh,
you lock
well, it's not
it.
auto. I don't know how to manually lock it, and I look around at gas stations all the time, and I see everybody like hands free, like texting, doing this, and I'm like, I still have to stand here like an ass. So,
well, you know what? I read that when you hold it, you get more gas. So honestly, you're getting more gas than the next guy.
That doesn't make any sense. It's the same tube.
Is it?
Yes. And
but
then
when
the
you
same
push it, you know, you give it more pressure. And so you're allowing yourself to get more gas. That's my logic. And when I read that, I said, noted. This resonates.
Manual gas moving forward.
Moving forward. It's a quick Instagram break.
I don't like pumping my gas. In fact, I need to pump some gas today. Honestly.
Me too. But I'm excited about what we're chatting about today. First and foremost, I'd like to give a shout out to the Flourish Factory for always looking out for us, making it easier for people to find us and to learn all about what we've got going on. So thank you to the Flourish Factory for collaborating with us yet again on another podcast episode. Katie, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really good. I walked in, there was food already here.
Abundance.
Blessings in abundance. Orange juice and tea.
What?
On top of sandwiches, breakfast
Wow.
sandwiches. I feel like, and the thing is, as I was driving here, I was like, dang, I heard my stomach growling. I'm rushing, I'm late. You know how we be on CP.
Every time.
So I feel really good. Everything's working out.
Yeah.
It's a nice Sunday. It's 80 something.
It's a beautiful weekend in LA.
Yeah.
It's been great. So, we're the hosts.
Oh, yes.
And the people may not know who we are.
Just in case you don't know, I'm Katie, your host, actress, and writer. And to my left is Michelle, interior designer, your new favorite Scorpio. And together we are the hosts of the Bag Behavior Podcast. Here in the Bag's headquarters, we focus on a few things that we don't want to change, and that is absolutely ascending towards greatness together. And in order to do that, sometimes we have to ask the hard questions.
Yep.
Sometimes we need to be vulnerable, and we need to be real with our sis, and we consider vulnerability to be strength. So we just want to share our experiences, hear some of yours, and, you know, collectively ascend
Towards greatness every single day.
From living to thriving.
From living to thriving, all of our sayings.
So, yeah, we're... At the end of the day, if we don't manifest that, I'm like, this is wild. I've been working on my whole 20s to manifest this thriving shit. Yeah.
And it's working.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
The progression is known. It's seen.
Your words are spells. You speak the things into existence.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Life is a dream that you manifest slowly.
Oh, stop.
That's not even my word, but shout out to Victoria Monet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know that song. If you heard it, you know it.
Okay.
You know it. But so today's topic, the topic overview, it's going to get juicy. We're talking about adult attachment styles and their role in relationships. You know, it's human nature for us to seek relationships, love, support, comfort in others. But sometimes I think we can all agree that we see patterns in these relationships as well. Some are not the best. Some can be labeled as unhealthy patterns or emotionally challenging reoccurrences, you know, in our relationships. And so I don't know if you've ever thought about it, like, is there a name for this? You know, is there a whole psychological breakdown when it comes to how we show up in relationships and how that affects our partner and etc. So today we're going to talk about these attachment styles. There's 3 to 4 depending upon, you know, where you're reading or, you know, where you're getting your information from. We're actually going to talk about the book Attached, page 44 to be exact. They give a great breakdown on these attachment styles, and they give 3: anxious, secure, and avoidant. So today we're going to talk deep dive into all of these and get to know us a little better, get to know some of our favorite characters a little better, and have fun overall.
Yeah, definitely. It's a really, relationship talk is fun, right?
It is.
It's like, it's tea, it's personal, it's exciting to talk about. You want to share your stories, but now it's like a little bit more constructive. It's like, okay, but this behavior that you're doing,
right,
this is how we define it. And if it's something that you don't like, this is how to get, you know, outside of it, not just tell those trauma stories about how shit escalated.
Exactly.
You know?
Because we don't want a trauma bond.
Yeah.
And sometimes venting about relationships can turn into that.
Yeah.
And it could be like, oh, fuck that nigga.
Yeah.
You know, all niggas ain't shit, da 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 da.
And beating each other in how much they ain't shit. Like, yeah, well, he didn't do that. Well, let me tell you about what mine did.
Right, Tyrone. But at the end of the day, sis, it could be you.
Also, yes. It's the allowance. It's the allowance half the time that you could be considered partially at fault for.
Absolutely.
That was very, you know what I'm saying? That was a very political answer.
Politically correct. But let's get into what these styles are. So anxious. The book Attached, who's this by? Amir Levin and Rachel Heller. Shout outs to them. You can also probably link up with us in the description box below about this book if you want more information. But the 3 styles, okay. The first, anxious. You love to be very close to your romantic partners and have the capacity for great intimacy. You often fear, however, that your partner does not wish to be as close as you would like him or her to be. Relationships tend to consume a large part of your emotional energy. You tend to be very sensitive to small fluctuations in your partner's moods and actions. And although your sentences are often accurate, you take your partner's behaviors too personally. You experience a lot of negative emotions within relationships and get easily upset. As a result, you tend to act and say things you later regret. If the other person provides a lot of security, however, and reassurance, you are able to shed much of your preoccupation and feel content.
Okay. So that's anxious.
That's anxious.
So it's like, yeah, you anxious, your shit's not together. But if you got a secure one, by the grace of God, then you might be okay. That's what it sounds like. Yes,
in a nutshell, right? I think I definitely can show up anxious sometimes, but it is if I'm dealing with a partner who is either also anxious or maybe avoidant, you know, it's like it just makes me more hyper aware of the fact that, you know, maybe this might not work. But I guess that's the whole thing is like I shouldn't be preoccupied with that. I should be living in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So that's anxious.
Okay, we'll dive deeper.
Secure.
Okay.
Secure. Being goals. This is where we should aspire to be. Where I think we are. We could be a mix.
Yes, I'm mixed.
I'm mixed. Secure. Being warm and loving in a relationship comes naturally to you. Period. You enjoy being intimate without becoming overly worried about your relationships. You take things in stride when it comes to romance and don't get easily upset over relationship matters. You effectively communicate your needs and feelings to your partner and are strong at reading your partner's emotional cues and responding to them. You share your success and problems with your mate and are able to be there for him or her in times of need. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm like 70% of that. I think, and that's strong.
Yeah.
The part about having like sharing responses like to your partner's emotional needs or being like aware of their little cues and stuff.
For sure.
I feel like they should add in that you respond healthily to their cues, because I respond.
Facts.
If you
You're gonna
acting
get
different,
a response.
I noticed that.
Is it the one that you
Is it
hope
the one?
for?
Yeah, is it productive? That's the question. So
Right.
that's a little bit of a thought there for me.
Absolutely, because we're always responding.
Yes.
But yeah, this is the ideal scenario, is that you're responding in a healthy manner. Absolutely. Okay, so the last one in this book, avoidant. It is very important.
So why did you look at me?
I was looking at you like, should I just put your name in this? 'Cause
Wow. Okay.
backstory, she let me know that this might be the one for her, like anxious is for me. But let's see. Avoidant. It is very important for you to maintain your independence and self-sufficiency, and you often prefer autonomy in your intimate relationships.
Makes sense.
Even though you do want to be close to others, you feel uncomfortable with too much closeness and tend to keep your partner at arm's length. You don't spend much time worrying about your romantic relationships or about being rejected. You tend not to open up to your partners, and they often complain that you are emotionally distant. In relationships, you are often on high alert for any signs of control or impingement on your territory by your partner.
Yikes.
Damn. Is that a read?
The last sentence hit home.
It's so funny.
Shit. Oh, God.
It's so funny because I know you so well, and we know each other's relationships.
Yes.
And so I'm like thinking of all these different things, like, yo.
And this has been for a long time. This has been a long time coming behavior.
Yes.
Like decades of this behavior. Really, as soon as you start getting into relationships, because one thing that is notable about this is these are results of your childhood. Like, these are the attachment styles that have developed after you've had experiences as a baby, you know.
Over time.
So it's really interesting because I definitely even remember in high school still being an avoidant. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I was reading as well, like how, you know, the foundation is set again with your relationship with your caregiver as your during your upbringing. And if you are provided with, if the child is provided with what they need, then they develop a secure attachment. But like, we're Black in the U.S. Like, come on, it's a lot coming at us, at our parents.
Yes,
societally, you know, and all of that. So I think we all probably can find ourselves in the mix of all these different attachment styles.
And the goal is to like evolve towards secure, because I know people who are secure as adults who I know about their personal childhood, and it wasn't like it was beautiful, gorgeous. It was, they had hardships, but they've healed themselves and done the work to get themselves to like a secure space. And I think that should be the goal for people that want to be in relationships.
Exactly. Exactly. Because as an adult, you have a choice. You can become a better version of yourself through the work. You know what I'm saying? That internal work that's required just to strive for better. And I think that this is why learning about your attachment style is so important and it's so helpful.
Yeah.
Because it's like it gives you language for you to describe how you interact with people and how you show up in these relationships.
Definitely.
So jumping into, how we feel about our personal attachment styles. So yes, I feel I'm secure with this dash of anxiousness in my relationships, because I can get preoccupied. And when it's talked about like putting a lot of your emotional energy towards the relationship, I definitely feel like I'm that person. It doesn't help that I am a Scorpio and we are obsessive and we are passionate individuals. So it's like, I like you. What are you talking about? Like, come here close to me. Was that a step away from me?
Where are you going? I'm getting some water, babe.
Oh, okay. Can you give me some too? Kisses from across the room. And so, meeting a partner who's also equally as affectionate, or at least, I don't know, has the feeling that they want to be because they love me and etc., I think will work. But I have been in situations where that compatibility was thrown off. And then also, now that I have this language, I'm realizing that I was coming from an anxious perspective and this person was coming from an avoidant perspective. Mm-hmm. And so our relationship was crazy. Yeah. And it wasn't even crazy in like a toxic way where people seeing us would be like, oh, like they up and down and etc. It's like, no, like we're actually healthy, we like each other, we're good friends, etc. But like at the core of this, where all of our problems come from, is this exact place.
Yikes.
Him feeling very avoidant, like, don't get too close to me, I love you but don't get too close to me, and me feeling like, no, come closer, come here. Yeah. If you don't, I don't feel secure and I won't open up to you.
Right, because very reactionary. Scorpios.
Yes, extremely.
That's so interesting. It's definitely, it's important to notice that it's like at the core of the relationship, not the public relationship.
Right.
Because people would never assume that unless they like are very skilled in that like relationship.
Exactly. Aspect. A therapist looking at us could have been like, I know exactly what this is.
Wrong.
Right. But no. From the perspective of our friends, it was like goals.
Yeah. Literally. So relationships are the most complex thing like I've ever experienced. Romantic relationships are like they're just so nuanced,
for sure,
and you have to, everything is like a very important choice, and you should take your time with your choices, because I feel like I definitely find myself sometimes hopping into saying something that I know I could have not said. And that may be why I'm like avoidant at times too, because I'm just like, I take a long time often to respond if I'm upset, because I don't, I have things to say, but I either don't want to say don't want to say the wrong thing, or don't even want to really give the person the opportunity to get close to me because I don't feel safe with them anymore. So then I just like create a large amount of space. Like, I feel like that's an avoidant behavior.
Yeah. So talk more about your styles. You did the quiz and everything.
I took the quiz.
What did the quiz say? Was it accurate?
It was. Okay. But to be honest with you, first of all, I'm an avoidant sun and a secure rising. So I eventually will not deal with all these issues. Like, I think that I definitely am making a better point to like speak up, give people opportunities, be clear, because I definitely struggle with like doing things for people and then them not really doing it for me, and then me like not feeling good enough to like, not feeling secure enough to tell them that, and then just letting them continue to do to me something that doesn't work for me, you know what I mean? And I feel like, go ahead.
And do you feel like that's, because the part where I was reading where it made me laugh, because I was thinking of you, is the part where it's like something like you pay attention to like cues of them potentially trying to control you.
Yeah, that one hit home.
And I was like, ooh, I remember there was this time Katie was like, homeboy is trying to control me. He want me to do this with my life and make me.
And I panicked.
You did.
I shut the whole thing
The whole
down.
shit down, Katie.
We could turn off the whole iPhone. I don't give a damn. Like, that's so funny. Okay, so I had an avoidant story.
Tell it.
Basically, and Michelle, you have stakes in this for sure, okay? I guess I'll just be honest.
Go ahead.
So
I'm
we
ready.
met during the pandemic, and look at her. Already laughing at my pain. No. We met during the pandemic and everyone was getting married. Okay? And I'm in my late 20s and I was like, I'm probably gonna have to get married. We're in the heart of the pandemic, so shit is unclear. Like I don't know what's gonna happen next. So I'm like, let me just meet somebody and settle down and make it work because I gotta get, these things, this show on the road. The road is about to, it's like the road is ending. We're coming to a dead end. I'm trying to do certain things that I really don't feel in my heart to do, but I feel pressured to do. So I get into this situation. The person is a nice person. I like them. It's cool. We're about to go on a excursion, which we discussed with you all. We're going to Africa, Michelle and I. So Michelle says, well, is he going to hold it down and wipe you up? Because
I did not say that. I did not.
She did.
Let me
Look
tell
at her anxious attachment styles projecting on my shit.
What I said was, if she took it left, this might be that avoidance. What I said was, I was like, Katie, what I meant, my intention was, don't rush into it. We're about to go to Africa. You have no idea who you're going to meet. You might meet someone better than this guy. So don't force the situation. Like if the relationship is not defined, that's great because we're about to go on this incredible trip.
So that was unclear.
She took that as, go tell this nigga why the fuck he ain't lock it down yet. Because do you want me to be single in Africa?
Or not.
Okay, now you could continue.
That was how I received it.
That's how you received it.
And I understand in hindsight what you meant. I did not hear that. So I went and pressured him into it and he was like, you know what it is. And I was like, no, I don't know what it is.
Defined it.
We need to define it. Yeah, we need to define it because there's going to be a lot of things going on overseas and I want to know what kind of relationship I'm in,
Right.
And he's like, okay, so lock it down, we'll be official or whatever. I'm like, all right, yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, let me get on this plane. No, I'm just playing. I'm being so ignorant. Okay.
But serious. This is exactly how it happened.
So then I go to West Africa and I feel like, okay, this is the real turning point. Okay, there is temptation there.
Right.
This is Africa.
In December.
Yeah, this is
Ghana in
there's
December.
Temptation. And then I'm just like, okay. So I turned to Michelle one night, New Year's night.
Oh, facts.
And I'm like, my Venus in Gemini is acting up. And for people who are not into astrology, that basically means Gemini is like the twins, right? Gemini is two, they switch at certain times. And Venus is the planet of love. So it's your relationship behaviors romantically can be explained through your Venus in your birth chart. So mine is a flip-flopper. You know what I'm saying? She's flip-flops. Mm-hmm. And I turned to Michelle and I was like, this isn't going to work. I'm feeling like I can already tell that it's going to be hard for me to act how I'm supposed to act here.
And this is where I think that avoidant came in because she started to craft this entire scenario where this person was controlling her. This is the plan. I was like, oh my God. And I'm believing it because I'm invested. I'm like, shit, you right.
Yeah, he definitely trying to control you. I told my sister too. I called my sister. She was like, yeah, nah, because that don't even work. Yeah, I just gave everybody the perspective that I wanted them to go with. And that's the funny thing about when people talk to you. It's they're just going to tell you what makes them sound good most
exactly.
of the time. But yeah, so I started to just craft this thing what really was the nail on the head that triggered the avoidant behavior was he was like, all right, so talk to your manager about if they're going to rep you in Atlanta or not because, so we could get this move on the road and stuff like that. So I'm like, no. So now you're giving me advice on my business and this is mine. and we're not gonna, like, you're
That
putting pressure.
independence.
Yeah, we're not about to do that.
Yeah.
So all that talk to who and what, that has nothing to do with you anymore. Because I'm not ready to have that conversation. I want to propose those ideas. I don't want somebody to try and make me feel like I need to, you know what I mean? Not that I didn't propose the idea, but he kind of put the pressure to start making it like happen. And I just panicked and I just stopped it all right there.
Yeah. That's so funny. I really enjoyed.
Not funny. This is my real life. This is not made up.
Let me retract. It wasn't funny in the moment. It was very serious. It was a time.
It was.
But
I
think looking back on it and now having this insight about attachment styles, like it's kind of funny.
Yes, it's very textbook.
It's very textbook.
It's very textbook behavior. But so like I found reasons to just like leave.
Yeah. Instead of maybe
No, I'm thinking about the person. It don't matter. It's fine. I still don't regret it.
Of course. Because
don't.
at the end of the day, like, you made excuses, but if you were to tell the truth, it still would be that this relationship is not for you.
Yes, it still wasn't for me. I still wasn't ready.
Exactly.
For those things. So.
Exactly. It's just the storytelling aspect that gets me every time, because you have no idea, like, I'm sitting on, like, let's say a balcony in Togo and she's telling me this story and I'm probably high, maybe I had a puff or two, and I'm just so invested and I'm starting to have realizations because I'm a very imaginative person, and so I can see it happening, you know?
Yeah.
I'm visualizing it and I'm just, wow, it was like cinematic.
That is really controlling. Like, you know what? I'm an actress, so I really do.
Exactly.
I'm like, all right, so
you
this
have
is
the story.
frame. Yeah. And this is how we're gonna get me to be the protagonist.
Period.
You're my audience. You're on my side.
I'm on your side.
You don't get
rooting
information other than that. I'm curating the shots. Like,
you were.
But at the same time, sometimes that behavior is like, it's defense mechanism is what it sounds like. But at the same time, sometimes that might be like a valuable, positive thing that you did for yourself still.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just to...
I guess.
Yeah, that could be good. And I did, and don't ghost people either.
No. Okay,
I
so
did
we were
that a
having a
little bit.
conversation about ghosting earlier today, as it relates to attachment styles. And ghosting is a phenomenon in our generation. I don't think it really... It could have been a thing with, like, you know, the Rolling Stone type of guy, maybe, you know, like him having his way with you, maybe having babies with you and then dipping out. I feel like that's...
Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Exactly. Like, that was the ghosting of that time. But our ghosting is very much so, very more prevalent. And women and men do it, and all gender identities do it. And let's talk about that. Like, where does that come from?
Ghosting?
And have you been ghosted?
Have I been ghosted? Not as much as I ghosted. Not as much as I ghosted. That's the truth. Like, but I usually don't get so that deep into people before I ghost them. I feel like I ghost everyone because of my avoidant, like, style. Like, I might come
keeping
back
them at arms.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes, I walk away from a lot of situations and then I come back when I feel like I want to talk about it. But I don't usually talk about it when it's hot.
I feel like I try to be very direct. Like, I'll tell you why I'm about to never speak to you again. I may not say the full truth, because sometimes I feel like, you know, if there's certain things about you that I don't like, I'm not going to make it seem like I'm not going to hurt your feelings. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't like your hands or something, like, I'm not going to tell you, like, yeah, it's your hands for me. You know, I can't do it. I'm going to tell you other reasons that are hopefully constructive. So I'm going to let you know how I'm just not interested in pursuing the relationship because of X, Y, and Z. And then I dip and then I go. So I personally, when I get ghosted, it offends the shit out of me. Because I feel like I'm the type of person that you could tell anything to. Like, if you want to be back with your ex, you could tell me that. I can understand it as a person who is a lover and be like, all right, bet, go do you. And I'll go do me.
Is that how you would say it, Michelle?
That's how I would say it. I promise you.
Michelle.
Yes. I mean, I might react to you differently when I call you.
Okay.
That might be a different reaction. But with the guy that I'm with, if that's what he wants to do, I'm so happy you told me. Because if you had told me some bullshit, like give me some, or ghost me, whatever, like that, I just have no respect for. I'm like, you should have been honest. Because now we can't even like be cordial. Like, you know what I'm saying? I put you in a whole different category of human being now, and you don't exist in my world.
I feel like this is where my Venus and Gemini pops up again, like the two sides, because I feel bad about ghosting, and that's why, like, I did ghost that person that I did the avoidant thing with, but then like a few days later I hit them up, but like for like,
wow, you're toxic.
oh my god,
I'm sorry, you triggered me.
I'm crying.
Oh my god. Is this my friend?
No, okay, first of all, I was like,
do I know my friends? No, just kidding.
I didn't know what to say, and I was so overwhelmed. I had COVID. So I just ghosted this. This was my biggest ghost. Okay, the other ones are more like, oh, I met you like at Walmart, and
we're still talking about that experience, the avoidant experience.
Yeah, he's the one that, like, my main example, but you
did ghost him, and I feel like I was a good friend to you at that moment. I was like, Katie, you don't want this karma.
Yes, that's true.
I literally was like, yo, you need to treat people with respect, like, right. And she was like, I have the right. You said I have the right to take some time.
Yes. Okay. So let's define ghosting. What's the time frame that we have to be responsive to you and communicate something to you?
Facts.
Because I don't have to talk to you today. I had COVID.
I think
I was sick.
I think it has more to do with the context of the relationship. How invested are you? Now that, like, this is your man and you guys are in this committed relationship, I do think you have some responsibility to let the person know why you're not going to speak for them for several days consecutively, whereas you may have been talking to them every day. You know what I'm saying? But if this is like some casual thing, then you can get back to them, 5 business days later and not feel away. Okay. So I think maybe that is the defining factor of, like, taking time versus ghosting, and how, the level of toxicity.
Yes. You definitely should communicate, like, something to them so that they don't feel so confused and blindsided. Yeah. I don't think that's fair. Let me get my hair together, wrap this puppy around. But I definitely felt like I wasn't in a place at the time to say something, and I was just trying to get myself together. So, but yeah, I'm an evolving human.
Absolutely. We all are.
I'm an evolving human.
We all are.
That was my classic ghost. I won't do it again.
You've learned a lot, I think. I learned a lot.
Yeah. From watching you. How do I know that you didn't plot the entire thing?
Hell no. No, I'm not that much of a genius, because that was excellent television. I'm just kidding.
We'll rewrite it.
We will. So let's hop into a listener perspective. Aisha wrote in, and she said her attachment style is You, the Netflix series. She says that Joe Goldberg is her spirit animal. And I was like, that is so funny, because we all know the conflictedness that we have with Joe. Maybe not you. You don't really watch the series that much, but I'm conflicted personally. And I know some of my friends are as well. Like, I love Joe. I think he's so romantic and he has great intentions. But at the end of the day, Joe is a sociopath. I don't think he's a psychopath, which is a different conversation, but he's a sociopath, and he's anxious. Okay. He's anxious for show. He will go to lengths to feel secure in the relationship.
What's an example?
He will find the guy that you're low-key kind of still feeling, your ex, someone you're talking to you haven't let go. He'll find that guy and eliminate the source of of those feelings for you, so that you can redirect your energy onto him.
So do the ends justify the means?
They don't. But I think that's real. I think, obviously, I wouldn't say a lot of people are out here being sociopaths and killing people. However, I think her saying that Joe is her spirit animal and that's her attachment style says volumes about our generation. Because we have so much access into who you are still attached to, who you still love, who you still like. You know what I'm saying? I could go on your Instagram and see, you know, people you're talking to in your DMs. All these private conversations, these private thoughts you have, they're not private anymore.
No, they're not. There's a little bit, like, there's a lack of control over your life when people, like, I can access you in so many different platforms.
Right.
And it's also interesting because you can, like, stalk people.
Yeah.
Like,
very easily.
Yeah.
And can, like, high key be proud of it. Like, I could find out.
I can find out. You just give me the name, I'll find out everything about him. I know his mom. I know where she works.
Period.
I know his niece. I know he has two brothers on this side.
Check out this link.
Look at this tag photo.
The group chat's going up with all of this man's information.
Yes, absolutely. I've heard people say that they found out, like, people's medical records and, like, certain things like that from digging through people's Facebooks and like all kinds of details about them that they don't reveal anymore. So
my mom actually finds out every guy's home address before I go out with them. I'll tell her first and last. And she will come up with, like, she'll narrow it down to 2 addresses. She's like, okay, we know he lives in one of these 2 places. I'm like, Mom, you're crazy. But I appreciate it. Because if I do go lost, we're not starting from scratch.
If I get 2 addresses. And I'm pulling up.
Yeah.
In fact, we could divide and conquer. We could call a team.
Exactly.
But it's smart. I mean, it's the same as... It's not the same, but I also, like, when I'm going out with somebody new, I'll send my location with a friend. Have them know.
True. I do that all the time. I actually have some reckless behavior associated with that, honestly. Like, when I was studying abroad, I met this guy in... Where did I meet him? Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Okay.
And then I came back to Thailand and I was like, oh, I need to leave again because my visa is expiring. So to get a new visa, which is basically like a 30-day tourist visa, you have to leave the country, come back. And so I was like, where am I going to go? He was like, oh, you should meet me in Cambodia. And I was just like, all right, bet. Like, all right, then. When I tell you, I only know this man for, like, I met him in person for, like, 10 hours. And we had a great conversation.
I get it.
Okay, period. This is why we're friends.
Sound.
It seems very sound.
Yeah.
We had conversations after that on WhatsApp. You know what I'm saying? And I think at the time, Uvu was popping. Do you remember Uvu?
Oh my gosh, vaguely. Is that video chat?
Yes.
That's hilarious.
Yes, we were on that. And so I was like, I know this person. But I made sure to let my friend know. I never told my parents this story. Sorry, Mom. But I told my friends, like, all the information that I did know about him. And this was actually before Instagram was super popping for us millennials. So, like, I gave her as much as I could. I told him to send me a picture of his passport, and I sent it to her and everything. Just to be safe. I was trying to be safe, but at the same time, I was going to meet a man in another foreign country. Another one. I was already in one without anyone who really knows me and who cares for me truly.
Right.
I decided to up the level.
Easily, though.
Period. Because I stood out. Stood out, yeah. But anyways, how did we get there?
Girl, I don't know. I know I've had my fair share. When you're on vacation, you're like a whole other person.
You are.
It's really interesting, but...
You are. But anyways, key takeaways from this conversation. There's a lot.
We there right now?
We're already there.
Dang.
We talk a hell of a lot.
Okay.
I guess that's why we have a podcast.
I looked at you like, girl, that's not next on the agenda. You're wrong.
Next.
It's next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Key takeaways. I think personally it's helpful to know how we show up in relationships. It's helpful to know that we can grow out of these behaviors It's not like you're a product of your environment. That's how you must stay for forever, you know? You have the opportunity as an adult to acquire all the language and skills that you need to develop your attachment style as it relates to this conversation, you know? And I'm actually really excited that I have this language now because I didn't before. Even talking about your experience with, you know, the controlling guy that we created a whole movie for, I didn't even know about these things then. If I did, I probably could have been like, you know, you're kind of acting avoidant. You know what I'm saying? But I was just there for the ride with you. Ignorant as hell.
Yeah.
But
I have one friend who calls me out on my avoidant behavior.
Really?
Nicole.
Nice.
She knows that already, and she would, but then sometimes I'm like, girl, that's not avoidant. That's me being cautious.
Oh, gosh.
You know, I have to defend it, but she definitely is a friend that already knows that. And yeah, it is good for people to have that language for you.
Absolutely. So what was your takeaway, you'd say?
My key takeaways, I think that, yeah, I like what I came up with, which was that I am an avoidant sun and a secure rising, and I'm absolutely evolving, and I'm you know, I'm working towards having the relationships that I feel proud of, which I feel like I have. I feel like I definitely already have stuff to be proud of that I didn't do earlier this year that I'm doing now. So
absolutely. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of the Bag Behavior Podcast. Katie, how can they interact with us on a daily basis and keep us close, attached to us?
Keep us close to your heart. So we are going to find you and converse with you and get to know you on social. If you just engage with us, we're on bags.official_ on Instagram. We're gonna be on Twitter, we're gonna be on TikTok, we're gonna be on all those platforms, but the links will always just be spread out like a nice little description box. So you can find us on many, many platforms. You can donate or buy products from us at shopforbags.store. And you can also watch the pilot show that we premiered last year, which is a scripted dramedy called Bags, and that's available on Vimeo, and you can find those links wherever you find information from us.
Yes. Please watch the pilot, support the brand. We want to bring a lot more of these conversations to the forefront, bring our friends into the mix, and have, you know, great conversations and help the whole community ascend towards greatness. With that in mind, also would like to say thank you again to the Flourish Factory for collaborating with us. I'm really so grateful for this partnership. I mean, come on now.
Absolutely.
It's what gets me up on a Sunday morning.
The only thing that could.
Is
the Flourish Factory.
To know that I'm supported in this way.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels good.
It does.
It does. You only hear about these things. You never see them. Absolutely.
So I'm very grateful. And that's it. Until next time. Deuces.
Bye. This is our podcast.